on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power. Ready for your next big move? The trip from the fridge to the couch. Gamble responsibly. Gamblingcare.ie.
Okay, folks, you're welcome back. Still 1-1 between Madrid and Chelsea. 85 minutes on the clock. Pulisic and Benzema with the goals. We are going stateside to Jeff Reuter, North American football coverage for The Athletic. Jeff, how you doing?
Doing all right. Thanks for having me.
No, great to have you with us. We wanted to touch on the Neville Beckham dynasty, which is kicking off the MLS season underway.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying, just as a first off and as an insight into the, I suppose, intelligence around Beckham and everything he did, that when he signed for LA Galaxy in 2007, there was a clause in his contract which allowed him to buy an MLS franchise effectively for $25 million, which is a steal. I'm right in saying it's a steal as well.
Oh, it's an absolute steal. These days, the fees are starting at 300 million American dollars, and they're working their way up. There's a chance that by the time this league inevitably grows to 31 and 32 clubs, that you're looking much closer to $500 million American dollars. So to get one for 25 million has been possibly the most valuable part of that contract that Beckham signed when he left Real Madrid in 2007.
Wow. There's no flies on him.
No, none whatsoever.
The situation with the home stadium, I understand, is ongoing. Inter Miami in existence for about 3 years now at this stage. Is it that they can't get a home stadium, or they're close to it, or how's it been going?
Yeah, there's been some false starts here, some near misses. I think that they've looked at the top priority with the stadium project to be within Miami proper, to get out of the broader county, to make sure that it is something that people could go to, whether it's via mass transit, bicycle, driving, what have you, rather than make it that sort of soccer moms and soccer dads driving the van full of children out into the suburbs. Right now, they are playing at something of a historic venue called Lockhart Stadium, which was the Fort Lauderdale Strikers Stadium, an old NASL club. They had to retrofit it, turn it pink, essentially, and then they've been playing there ever since. Will that be their permanent home? Ideally, if you're asking the club, it won't be. They will be able to find a way to get into Miami. They want something that's oceanfront, ideally. However, I mean, look, New York City FC has been running into stadium issues as well for 6, 7, 8 years now, being located in Yankee Stadium. And even now they're playing games in the rival New York Red Bulls. When you're building in these major cities, like Major League Soccer wants to be doing, they're not just going to hand you parcels of land and say, here you go build us a 20,000, 25,000 foot or a 25,000 capacity stadium. You have to go through the exact process that everyone else would. And I think at this point, American sports is seeing stadium fatigue, because every NFL team has wanted a new stadium over the last 10, 15 years, every Major League Baseball team. So to be trying to ask for land for a specific soccer stadium when soccer is still growing in the United States, it still is not nearly to what the NFL is. It's a big ask for any market.
Yes, I was just reading how the Glazers recently managed to get the good people of Tampa to basically pay for their stadium, so I can imagine the fatigue.
That's right.
No shock as to why Beckham picked Miami. I mean, nice part of the world to spend your time, I suspect, and also a ripe South American football mad audience, presumably.
Yeah, a lot of Cubans as well, and just a lot of Latin American influence in that market. I think that they look at it as potentially vibrant. I mean, the branding, they certainly went hoping that it would be something that would really take off. I think black and pink is something that you choose with marketability in mind. It's not something you stumble upon because you think it's going to, clash less with the opponent's kits, right? So I certainly think that they've expected it to take off more than it has. If I'm being completely honest with you, I think that the stadium has been harder to come by than they expected. I think that the on-field product has not lived up to their expectations. It's why you saw so much overhaul within the sporting department on the football side over the last offseason, where they fired the manager, they fired the sporting director, they fired the chief scout, the technical director, and brought in fresh faces. Of course, Phil Neville, the most notable one. Chris Henderson, for American fans, they'll recognize him as being the architect of the dynasty ongoing for the Seattle Sounders. But there's a lot of bad pieces, admittedly, to this club right now. I think that there's a lot of mismanagement of resources from the start. They've been really trying to dig out of a lot of multi-year contracts to players who should not have had them. Multi-year contracts are maybe a little more rare in Major League Soccer than they would be in most of Europe. For the most part, you are able to get players to sign one-year guarantees and have club options tacked onto the end. and so like a rookie, for example, drafted will have a 1-year guarantee and 3 club options. That's just standard practice. And so they don't have many of those players. Instead, they have the Blaise Matuides, where they're stuck on that contract, and he is getting run past like a slalom course right now in Major League Soccer. And that's just the reality of it. And they're stuck with that for probably another 2 years.
Okay. Gonzalo Higuain is there, I guess, another high-profile player. Phil Neville got his first win at the weekend. They're 2 games into the season. They beat Philadelphia Union 2-1. I think, was it 10th, Jeff? They finished last year.
10th in the East, that's right.
Yeah, 10th in the East, which isn't anything to write home about, especially. And I think it will be more difficult to make the playoffs this season. Are they equipped, or are they likely to do anything particularly special this season, barring a Phil Neville miracle?
Hey, well, that's just it. You're asking for a Phil Neville miracle. You're asking for a Gonzalo Higuain miracle, a Blaise Matuidi miracle. You're hoping somebody comes out of the woodwork. You're putting a lot of pressure, actually, on the legs of Kieran Gibbs and Ryan Shawcross, because right now the weakest part of that team is its defense, and the reinforcements that they have gone out for are old boys that, frankly, I think that a lot of fans of mid to lower table championship clubs wouldn't be thrilled to see coming in as the reinforcements to be the starter. No disrespect to the careers that they've had, but I'm not sure they're necessarily moving the needle in the same way. Ryan Shawcross did an interview where he said he was literally about to retire until he got a call to come and play in the MLS. And if that isn't the running joke about Major League Soccer, I'm not sure what is. Yeah, I mean, look, they were about 18th out of 26 teams in Major League Soccer last year. That is absurd. That's appalling. That's not going to be what they expected. That's not the level that they want to establish themselves into. So as for this year, I mean, they've got Lewis Morgan, who's fared very well for them last year, and I think that he'll be a key contributor this year. Rodolfo Pizarro has also been probably their best player since he left Club Monterrey to be able to join Inter Miami. But I think that I'm looking at the Eastern Conference, and assuming the postseason is what MLS's usual is, which is to say 7 clubs per conference, I think I'm seeing 7 or 8 clubs that seem more likely to be in those playoff positions than Inter Miami. It'll just come down to the individual brilliance of some of these attackers that we've spoken about. And if they're able to steal a point or 3 here or there, that can make all the difference.
And what's your sense of Beckham in all this, Jeff? What's his ambition and motivation in all this?
Yeah, I think at first he trusted the people that he had helped appoint. I think that as I said, the manager, the sporting director, the technical director, the scout, who have all since moved on, made a lot of decisions he didn't agree with, but he was very hands off for that first year. And the perception stateside has been that Beckham has had a much more hands-on role in this lead up to the 2021 MLS season. He, of course, bringing in Neville, it's pretty hard to look at that and say that would be the Moss brothers, the other owners of the club who would be looking to do that. Of course, that has to have David Beckham's DNA all over it. But, you look at a couple of the other players that they have brought in. You look at bringing in Marc Prezant to be in as a technical director, a former North American scout for Manchester United. There's a connection there again. So I believe that he has really been looking to save face, to make sure that it doesn't become a punchline. It doesn't become a club that is an easy target, both domestically and, frankly, more so abroad, as the joke of, okay, well, here's the footballer who's trying to live out his dreams and failing miserably, right? And, how many football manager saves have we all had that have fared much better than this club has? So I think that he's been looking to reestablish it. It's very difficult. Frankly, it's very expensive, all of the overhaul that they've had to put in to dig out of those initial mistakes. But I do think that he does have the ambition to make Miami a permanent force for consideration for titles within Major League Soccer moving forward.
How popular is the MLS these days?
It is, as far as ticket sales goes, look, there's a lot of metrics that you could look at, right? I think as far as ticket sales go, it tends to outgross ice hockey, basketball, but that's arenas, right? Because they're all indoors, so they're usually 18 to 20,000 seats. But even Major League Baseball, the ratings, television ratings fluctuate depending on what was the lead in, what's coming next. If you're playing right after a World Cup game, it's going to be much better than if you're coming after Days of Our Lives, a soap opera that's been running in the States forever. But, it is growing. I think that the fact they were able to continue to play through the pandemic with just a 2 or 3 month layoff in the spring in 2020 really did them wonders in terms of having a consistent presence on ESPN, which is essentially their main broadcast partner, to be able to have that sort of content, to be able to have greater prominence within North American sports as well, because make no mistake about it, for 25 years, it has been the fifth of five leagues in terms of men's sports in the United States and Canada. But I think that it has gotten to the point where it is in conversation of eclipsing the NHL. It is probably in conversation with Major League Baseball in terms of the trajectory each league has been on over the last 10 years. It's more popular. I will say that the average American soccer fan is probably more into international football. They're probably watching the Premier League. They're waking up early to, be able to have their Guinnesses at 9 a.m., what have you, to watch a kickoff of Southampton. But I believe that MLS is also growing, just maybe at a slower rate than the international audience is.
Okay, very interesting. Jeff Reuter from The Athletic. Thanks so much, Jeff.
Yeah, anytime.
Appreciate it. So Jeff Reuter there from The Athletic covers North American soccer there. It's finished 1-1 in Madrid.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power. Fake crowd noise? The Emirates never sounded so good. Gamble responsibly. Gamblingcare.ie.
Hi, David Keeling here. At Keeling's, we like to work in harmony with nature, which includes looking after our little friends, the bees. Our Great Rewilding project plans to help reverse the declining population of bees and other pollinators, and we'd love you to join us. To help get this underway, we plan to scatter 100 million wildflower seeds across Ireland. Look out for our special Keeling's Great Rewilding punnets to get your free wildflower seeds, or visit keelingsgreatrewilding.ie. Keelings love to grow.
Boyle Sports now has dozens of new player markets on the Boyle Sports app, powered by Opta. Fancy that informed striker? Markets now available on shots, left foot, right foot and headed goals. Or how about total passes, tackles, assists? They're all available on every match. Boyle Sports. This is betting. Gamble responsibly. See gamblingcare.ie. 18+.
Over 800,000 people tune into News Talk every week. They tune in to listen. They're engaged, interested, maybe even interested in your business. Whether you're selling to customers, to businesses, selling online, or getting ready to reopen, your next customer could be listening right now. If you'd like to talk to them, talk to us. Email advertising@newstalk.com.
People don't become successful by accident. You've got to know what you want. So take off your shoes, sit down, reach no further than your tablet, type in Skoda, and you've won. Smile about doing less while some other guy is doing loads. Yawn like you've never yawned before. Smile again about the offers from 0%. Then configure your perfect car and fill out the easy online finance application. It's never been easier to be successful. Finance provided by way of hire purchase agreement from Volkswagen Financial Services Ireland and subject to lending criteria. Terms and conditions apply. Visit skoda.ie for further information.
CJ's TV was
stubborn. Never did what I wanted it to do.
So, he sent it to the Virgin Media Wellness Retreat for TVs, where it got hooked up to the Virgin TV 360 box. It came back
totally rejuvenated. The voice control feature is unreal. Any program, app or channel I want, all I have to do is press a button and say it, and I see it. Simple as.
magic. See what else the Virgin TV 360 box can do for your TV. Visit virginmedia.ie. Bring on amazing.
Subject to availability. T's and C's apply.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power. Only the cream of the crop pick up Champions League medals. Jonathan Greening's got one. Gamble responsibly. Gamblingcare.ie.
So 1-1 is what Chelsea take back to Stamford Bridge. I would think both sides will not mind their chances of going through. Real Madrid might be happy enough as well, particularly in that first half. Could have been a lot worse, but they finished up 1-0. Madrid had 10 shots to Chelsea's 12. There were only 8 passes in the difference, 570 to Chelsea, 582 to Madrid. So even on many fronts, the second half slowed down a lot. I think the sting went out of it a touch. Chelsea were very threatening in that first half. So 1-0 full time in Madrid, and that should be a really interesting second leg back in London. PSG, of course, against Man City tomorrow is a game everybody is looking forward to. We will be previewing that and reviewing that across the show tomorrow. In the meantime, Wednesday's OTB AM coming at you. Graham Hunter on with the lads tomorrow. They'll be talking rugby with Louise Galvin. Rhys McGlenihan on as well, and Shane Murphy on return to play in GAA. Wednesday night rugby amongst other things, tomorrow night. Andy Dunn back with us, Rory O'Connor as well. And like I said, PSG Man City will be a bit of a centrepiece, I suspect. Tomorrow, it's a game that you would think can't disappoint, given those two sides. So we're looking forward to that. That is pretty much us done. Richie is on the way. He's in for Tom Dunn this evening.